seek refuge in Allah from the rejected enemy Shaitan. With Allah's name, the most merciful benefactor, the most merciful redeemer. All praise is due to Allah alone. Praise Him, and we seek help from Him. We ask forgiveness from Him. We repent to Him. We seek refuge in Him from our own weaknesses, our own bad deeds. I bear witness there is no deity except Allah alone. There is no partners. And I bear witness, and Muhammad is His servant, His messenger. Almighty Allah, the creator of the heavens, the earth, all in between. There's nothing that caused itself, created itself. Allah has created everything, or allowed it to come into existence, whatever is in existence. And Allah says in the Quran, He says, Ayyuha ladina amanu. And then that's followed up in that particular ayah, Taqwallah, saying, fear Allah, have reverence, great reverence in Allah. This address here to the believer says, "O you who believe." It's a little more precise and somewhat definitive. It's even a better term to look at that, because it defines something a little different than when he says over in another surah, he says, Ayyuha insan. He's saying, when he says, oh man, insan, talking about man, is a little different than when he says, talk about, oh, you will believe. There are many parts of the Quran where Allah addresses the human being in a way to enlighten the human being as to his reasoning for being in existence, as to why the human being is here, why we are here. When we read the Quran, we're reading the book directly from the creator of the heavens and the earth. And if you were to take all of that into consideration, and then just looking at the sky, looking at the stars, and look at all the things, the moon, the sun, all those things that are in existence was created by the author of this kitab, this Quran. Same as he said kun, and the creation came into existence. This Quran is part of that. And this Quran is untampered, meaning that he didn't have someone to help him bring the Quran into existence. No more than he had someone to help him to bring the stars and the universes into existence. This Quran was authored by Allah. And he addresses us in certain ways because he wants us to understand, wants us to get some meaning from why all of this exists and get some meaning about ourselves and why we exist. He addresses in such a way that each generation comes away with what's important to them. He doesn't even hold us responsible for whatever was in past generations. We're not responsible for what they did, what they said, or how they lived their lives. But we are responsible for us in this day and time, in this generation. Allah holds each generation separately responsible for its own behavior in its own time, with its own circumstances. Our circumstances today are markedly different than the circumstances 1,000 years ago. They didn't know nothing about flying from one part of the country to the next. When you travel a day in the past, in 1,000 years ago, you didn't go very far compared to traveling a day now in a jet plane going across the globe. Not to even speak of the travel that it takes to go to the moon in terms of the distance and time. Circumstances change. So Allah addresses each generation based on their circumstances, based on the time in which we live and the time in which we get this information. He addresses many of us as if we were standing listening to Prophet Muhammad ﷺ reciting the Quran to us. He addresses us like that. Oh, you who believe, make you and put you in the position as if Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is standing before you saying, oh, you be, you had Nasi. You had Ladina, Amanu. It puts you in that place. Direct contact. Direct contact. So there's no missing it. So there's no intercessor. It doesn't come between you and your imam, or you and your khatib, or you and your brother, you and your father, you and your mother. It doesn't come like that. It comes directly to you from that revelation that was given to Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. That's the way you have to read this. That's the way you have to see this. Don't take it as a third person. Take it in the first person. This is Allah speaking directly to you. Block out everything else. And know that your Lord is talking directly to you, giving you information because he wants you to have it. This is the power of the Quran. And when we understand that power, then we get the maximum from it. Until then, we just getting ricochet information. And our behavior going to be ricochet behavior. You get information that's ricocheted off a couple other people, a couple other schools of thought. You getting ricocheted information. Now how you going to behave with ricocheted information? You going to behave ricochetedly, as though you've been ricocheting off something. You're not going to be behaving directly. Why do you think there's so many different sets of Muslims out there? Because they're ricocheting. One ricocheting off the other. The other's ricocheting off that one. That one's ricocheting off. So you look at them, you see them all different. And they come from one source. But they allowed someone to interpret that source for them, and they missed the direct connection where they should be performing and acting directly like their Lord created them to perform and act. There's no ricochet in this. Ayyuhal ladhina amanu. Or do you believe? Are you one of those who believe? If so, then he's talking to you. He's not talking to you through somebody. He's talking to you. This is why Muhammad ﷺ was given the Quran. It was given to humanity through him. Why? Because he was known not to change things. He was known to keep things as they were. His heart wouldn't allow him to change things. His heart was pure. He was one human being that had it straight. So when he repeat what Allah had given him in the Quran, you're getting it as Allah is talking with you. Some of this information we receive is so vastly important to us that we should take a great deal of time and consideration. We've just come through one of the most beneficial times for us as human beings, through Ramadan. Ramadan, the whole month of Ramadan was spent just for that reason, between you and your Lord. You and your Lord. Some say the way they interpret the Quran when Allah says fasting is for him, they think that you are doing this in worship of Allah. That you're doing this to say, I believe in God, I believe in Allah, so there I'm fasting because he told me to. That's where some take that. That's ricochet information. You're fasting. You're fasting because you and Allah are dealing with this. It's not ricochet. You and Allah are dealing with this. Allah is purifying your soul through you. Your efforts, your direct deeds, your direct behavior is going to affect you. And you don't have to lie to Allah. You can't lie to Allah about you was fasting or not fasting, because Allah knows. So Allah says to you, when we fast, he says, fasting is for me. I mean, I got my eyes on you, so you can't say you was fasting when you wasn't fasting. Not only can you can't just make believe you're fasting. You have to come from your heart. You have to come from your mind. You have to come from your very being. Because your body and your psyche will be calling out to you to break the fast. Your body, your mind, your psyche will call out to you to do something other than what you're supposed to be doing during that month, during the daylight hours. And it's only you and Allah who knows. Only you and Allah. So now, did you practice mercy? Because Allah said the first 10 days is about mercy. So no, we were thinking that it meant that Allah was going to be merciful toward us. Allah is merciful toward us all the time. He don't need 10 days to be merciful toward the human being. He said his mercy goes before his judgment. His mercy goes before his wrath. His mercy comes first. Even when he created man, he created Rahman, Rahim, both of those about mercy. And when you speak about Amra, you speak about the womb. That's Rahman is in that word. Mercy is in that word. The womb. When Allah says reverence the womb to bore you, Rahman, Rahim, mercy is in the womb. So Allah doesn't need 10 days to show you mercy. No, he's showing you mercy every minute of every day of every year you exist. Allah is showing you his mercy. Every second, Allah is showing you his mercy. But what he's telling us that, he said, now, you know I have been merciful toward you. You should turn around and show mercy. You should turn around and show mercy during those 10 days to other living creatures, to other people in the society. Show mercy. Show mercy to your wives. Show mercy to your children. Show mercy to your relatives. Show mercy to your friends. Show mercy to your neighbor. Practice it for 10 days, and I guarantee you it'll start making you a new person. Still talking to you and me as individuals. This is not a group therapy class that Allah is running. This is individual contact, individual coaching, individual analysis, individual, however you want to break it down psychologically or theoretically, it's about the individual. Forgiveness for the next 10 days. Allah says he already has forgiven you. So you're here not doing that in those 10 days. He's saying to us that we should practice forgiveness ourselves amongst the things that we have done and amongst the people have done to us. Forgive them and ask them to forgive us our faults. Go to some of those people you know you have stepped on their foot. Maybe you said you so-and-so to. Don't you ever look at me again, you no good so-and-so and so-and-so, you know. A couple of those people. Go to them and say, look, I'm sorry for that language I used toward you. I'm sorry for even thinking like that. That's not even my thoughts as a Muslim. Just forgive me, brother or sister. That's what we were supposed to be practicing those next 10 days. And not 5 days, but 10 days. So that tells us there's a lot of forgiving we could have been doing during that period of time. And after that period of time, we've already been made new with the mercy. Now look what piled on top of that. Forgiveness. Now we have been put together in such a way that mercy is the base. Forgiveness is the growth of it. And at the end, those next 10 days talk about protection from the fire. If you practice the first 10, the second 10, there is no fire. That's what they're saying. If you practice mercy, if you practice forgiveness, there is no fire for you. That is your protection. That is your protection for anything that can come against you. That you practice mercy, you practice forgiveness, there is no fire in your case. We said the next 10 days is Allah protecting you from the torment of the fire or from our weaknesses. See, that's ricochet thinking now. Think of it direct. Your Lord is talking directly to you, making you strong, empowering you with the ability to save your life. He wouldn't say save yourself and then save your family if you didn't have that power. You have the power, and he's encouraging us to use it during that month. And when we do use it, that power becomes very strong. At the end of Ramadan, we then celebrate. We celebrate that victory. The victory, not staying away from food and being with our wives during the daytime hour, not that victory. That form of abstaining you can do almost any time. No, this is the victory that you went the whole way, practicing what Allah had put into you to practice. Practicing mercy, practicing forgiveness. That's worth celebrating. Allah is saying you're a new creature than you were before. You're a stronger creature than you were before. Because you've just empowered yourself. You maintain that position, maintain that character that was made over that 30 days, maintain that character for the next 11 months. Maintain that character. Practice those things you was practicing then for the next 11 months. Just practice those things. And the world around you and you will begin to change. Reality. Reality of what Allah has given us in this Quran. He is empowering each individual. Each individual. And then he instructs us as individuals how we can come together as a ummah. How we can come together and begin to work with each other. See, that's what the Quran is. It's a guide. It's a guide for those who have sincere gratitude, thanks, respect for the Creator. The Quran is a guide. How you and I can socialize. You know, there's a lot of things that keep us from socializing. Some of us think we just look better than everybody else. I'm just a better looking dude than that guy. Or woman, same thing. Or my hair is prettier. Or my skin. I'm the right color skin. Close to the divine. I'm as close to the divine as you can get. It don't make any difference whether it's black or white skin. You know, both say that. The black one say, this is the original man. This is what the man originally was. This makes me divine because my skin is black. I'm darker than you. But then there's other guys standing on the other side and say, well, it tells us that black is not good. And it tells us that my skin is light. My skin is like Jesus. My eyes are blue. I'm more divine than you. Look at the confusion. Look at the confusion, because man, following those concepts, get off track. When Allah is talking to the individual that's inside that body, He's not even talking to your skin. Your skin is already a servant to Him. He's not talking to your eyes. He's not talking to your hair. He's not talking to your lips, because they already obey Allah. Everything about you obey Allah. Your heart obey Allah. Your lungs obey Allah. Your feet obey Allah. He's not talking to them. He's talking to that person, that thing that's inside there. He's talking to us inside this. Ayuha ladin amanu. That's what he's talking. He's talking to the believer inside of all of this. He created man, the Khalifa, in the fil ardi. In, the word is fil ardi, earth. Not the earth in man, but man is in the earth. Not walking on this earth here, no. We're talking about the earth that you're inside. Your body is earth. Your eyes are earth. Your hair is earth. Everything about you physically is made from the earth. And in fact, your thinking brain, your mind, is formulated by your contact with this physical creation. That's what forms man's thinking. Because we have a contact with the physical creation, and it creates sparks, and those sparks are thoughts. Thoughts and ideas that begin to multiply and grow over a period of time, and then we call ourselves an intellect. And Allah tells us He created that. But He's not even talking to that. He's not even addressing that in that particular ayah. When He says, Ayuha amanu, talking to the believer, He's talking to the believer in that aspect, saying to the believer, I'm addressing you. This is for you. You can hear me. You can understand me. And you can follow me. This is what He's talking about when He's talking about the believer. The believer can follow, because see, a believer, when you say mu'minun, when you say that, you're talking about one who gets on a course and doesn't change. That means he's not going to be different. And you see him today, and you see him a year from now, and you see him 100 years from now. He's still that same believer. He believes the same way. He doesn't get off track. So Allah is saying you can understand this Quran. And don't let anyone tell you you can't understand this Quran. Allah is addressing the human being, not as a male and female, not as a child or an adult, but He's addressing everybody as an adult, as a mature being. When He says, oh, you will believe, all of us on the same level. The Quran addresses the psychology, the psychological development of human being. It talks about the way we think. It talks about the way we behave. And it talks about our intentions. And Allah guides us along all those avenues. He addresses us in a way that we can begin to understand what our mind is. You know, long before the psychologists and the sociologists and all of the scientists, social scientists, begin to figure out what the mind was, way before Sigmund Freud ever got any idea about the id, way before that. In fact, they got theirs from studying what Allah had already put into existence. They studied animal behavior. They studied behavior of each other. They were only drawing the conclusions from that which they were studying. They didn't create none of that. It was Allah who created it. And let me just give you a little piece of what it's about. There is a portion in the Quran where Allah is telling the angels, the Malaika, he's going to create a Khalifa in the earth, meaning one who can control the physical earth. One who has the power to turn the earth upside down, inside out. One who has the power to maneuver himself. One who has the power to change his own physical appearance. And he begins to break it down so we can understand exactly what that means. See, the angels are that part of the creation which is also a part of you and me that obeys Allah without any question. Like your physical body, for example. Your physical body has no debate at all of whether or not it will obey Allah. So it's a malaika. Your body is malaika. Because it obeys Allah without question. Now you can make your body do something else. Why? Because Allah gave you the power to. Allah, in that same scenario, he said to the Malaika, make sujood to my man. Make sujood to the Khalifa. Make sujood to my man I call Adam. Meaning that anything that's Malaika, anything that has the power to execute any part of this creation that Allah had endowed it with, has to surrender that power to you. Has to surrender that power to your conscious mind. It has to surrender that power. So your body has to obey you, even though sometimes it doesn't want to. I can remember times when I was a young man, first time I started smoking a cigarette, my body told me, this does not belong in you. This just does not belong in you. No matter how you put it. No matter how you say it, I'm telling you right up now, in the front, this does not belong in you. And it told me in so many ways, it started choking me. It choked me so bad, I thought my chest was going to come out. This ain't part of you. So then I made my body submit. I said, hey, I'm the boss here. I'm the boss here. You ain't the boss no matter what you telling me you think I should not be doing or should do. I'm going to do it again. So I did it again. And I kept doing it. And pretty soon, my body said, okay, you win, my man. Allah told me to obey you anyhow, so I'm not going to get in any trouble. Because I'm just following what my Lord said. He said to obey you. I'm obeying you. Okay, smoke all you want. And alhamdulillah, I quit long before I had any disease to come up from smoking. But there's some who smoke and they get heart problems because of it. And the body told them when they first started, hey, look, man, this is going to cause a problem. They get cancer from it. And the body told them when they was a teenager, the body said, don't do this. You can't see that far down the line of time. But I'm telling you, Allah told me that you can't do this to them. I'm your alarm system. I'm your alarm system from Allah to you. Don't smoke. Don't take drugs. All of that. And drugs are a tricky thing, you know, because you fool your body. You fool your body with a drug. See, your body, when it eats a piece of fruit that tastes good, that your conscious mind says tastes good, it goes into this euphoric position. It takes this, this is great. This is great. Your body feels like your mind feels that spiritually. So your body doesn't have much problem with that because your mind is in a euphoric position. When you put a drug in your veins or smoke a reefer, you bypass that tendency. You bypass that and go right into that euphoric position. And your body thinks it's all right. So, well, you're happy. So your body thinks it's all right. You deceived your body. But you didn't deceive Allah. Because eventually that catches up. Eventually that catches up. And I thank Allah again that I was able to stop with the marijuana and all the other things I was out there trying with everybody else. We all have been through those kinds of things. Not all of us, but many of us. What's so important about all of this is that we begin to understand what we are and who we are. into reality. We begin to understand that our actions and reactions come directly from us, and that's what our conscious mind is being held responsible for. We have to see ourselves as a creation, a creature within this creation who has power that Allah has given us. And we have a big responsibility, huge responsibility. We are responsible for the earth. We are responsible for the air. We are responsible for the grass out there. We are responsible for the animals. We are responsible for ourselves. We are responsible for our families. We have a huge responsibility, and this is why when the mountains were offered this, and when other creatures offered this, say, no, lad, we don't want even no part of that. That's way too much responsibility for me. Way too much responsibility. In fact, when you read Quran, you will find that the Malaika, many of them don't have that many responsibilities. Many of them have 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 responsibilities. The Quran puts it in a way, said their wings. Their wings, that word, it stands for responsibility. Many of those forces only have 1 or 2 responsibilities. One may have a responsibility for bringing in life or taking life out. 2 responsibilities. One may have a responsibility for hot and cold. But you, Allah had made you responsible for everything. This is why they said in the Quran, says, man is foolish. Man is the word wasn't there, but it almost said, man is crazy. They even said, man is crazy. He don't even see how much responsibility that is, and yet he's taking it up. And this is what the word jihad is talking about. Ignorance. We are ignorant to the real responsibility. When we were first created, came into this life, we just saw everything and wanted to do everything, wanted to be everything, wanted to turn everything around. Didn't know that we were responsible for everything we touched, everything we said, everything we brought into existence, everything we moved from one side to another was our responsibility, and we was going to be held responsible for it by the creator of it. Even our soul. It says those who understand this, those who do not understand this, they corrupt their souls. And those who do understand it, purify their souls. Because their soul is coming back to Allah. And Allah is going to judge us according to what you have returned to Him. He's going to judge our conscious mind based on that, on what you have returned to Him of that soul. Some souls may be little pieces of shred. Some of the things we go through. Some may be in perfect harmony. Because it was obedient. It practiced certain things that Allah said to practice. Zakat, sadaqah. What does Allah say they do? They offer to purify your soul. You know, some think zakat is, or sadaqah is, they're walking in the masala with $200 or $300 in their pocket, and maybe give 20 or 50, and leave out with 150 or whatever, just to splurge with. I'm not talking about money you have to live with. Your living money, you shouldn't be giving out of that. You shouldn't even give money out of what you have to pay your bills with and feed your family with. That comes first. What you have left over is what you start dealing a percentage with, and it's only a percentage of that. But based on what we give into the masala dictates whether or not we're purifying our souls. We don't have anything to do with that. The imam has nothing to do with that. The treasurer has nothing to do with that. Even your brother has nothing to do with that. That's between you and Allah. Does that purify your soul? Is your soul worth $10? Is your soul worth $2? Is your soul worth $1,000? What is your soul worth? It's up to you to determine that. And that brother who's only have $2 to his name, if that $2 is to his name, don't put it in the sadaqah box. Go back there and ask for some sadaqah. That's sadaqah. When you recognize your condition, that's sadaqah. This ummah does not need the sadaqah of somebody who's starving, somebody who's doing it. Don't feel bad if you can't put money in there and that's all you have. No. Your brother, if your brother see you like that, he should put something in your pocket without you having to ask for it, without you having to beg for it. He should give you sadaqah. Then you both are sharing in sadaqah. But those of us who have the money in our pocket, who can put it in that sadaqah box and walk out with just putting in $10 and $5, your soul is dependent on that. Not me. Not this ummah. Not your brother, because we're going to get up and breathe. Allah will keep this thing moving. But the only thing you're going to be concerned with is what's going to wait for you in the hereafter with Allah. It's going to be your soul. Those who understand it, purify their soul. Those who don't, corrupt their soul. So with that, we want to take a short pause. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. We want to remind all of us about the final analysis and what we have been able to achieve during the month of Ramadan and what we can achieve now. We're out of the development of the individual self. Now we're talking about the collective. Now we're talking about us working together. Now we're talking about us building together. We've seen to our families in those 30 days. We've talked with our sons and daughters, our wives, all during the month, bringing ourselves closer to each other. Now it's time for everybody to come outdoors, and begin to grab the hand of our brothers and sisters and begin to build. Begin to build this world. Begin to build the new world. Do you think the world that Allah talk about when he said he's going to make a new heaven and a new earth was going to fall down out of the sky? No, it's going to do the same thing this world did. It's going to come up out the ground. Only difference, it's going to have a different attitude. It's going to have the attitude because your soul is pure. And you're going to be helping to purify others to have pure soul in this new creation. That's what's going to make it different. You are a direct part of it. And your behavior is what will determine it. And what we will begin to understand is how that works. How that works. And it works with each individual. When Allah says, come to Jumu'ah. Now, all the time, we've been doing something we want out in the world, going different places or what have you. But there's one time Allah says, come to Jumu'ah. When the call to prayer, when you hear the call to prayer made, come to Jumu'ah, come to make the Jumu'ah, come to the group. Group. Why is that so important? You was already doing work in the society because the group is what's going to move the world. The group is a picture of the world. The group is a picture of what this is going to grow to. So, let's build the ummah. A ummah of working together. A ummah of coming together. All of us here in this many of us have been here before. Those who are just here for your first time, join in our efforts. Those who have been here, you should be part of those efforts. If you don't know what those efforts are, ask Donnell. Ask me. Ask anybody else who you see around there. If they don't know, you should ask them why they don't know. We got efforts going on now. We talked about them last week, that we're going to do something in the city of Elizabeth and the county of Union to help shape the foundation of this cultural deprivation that causes all these disruptions in the society. We're going to make some changes in the attitude of the people. And the way we do it, we start at the bottom and build it up. We go to the weakest element and make it strong, because the chain is only as strong as its weakest link. And if you make that weak link strong, you have a chain. Up until then, you have a broken chain. All it takes is a little pressure. But once you make that weak link strong, you have a chain. So we thank Almighty Allah for blessing us to be here on this day of Jumu'ah. And we ask Allah to give us the best of this world and of the hereafter, and protect us from the fire. And come to Salah.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah.